Welcome to you're not looking for a coach or a mentor, but maybe you need one. The Work and Time edition. Hi, it's Martin. And I've done a video like this on confidence, but there's a couple of other areas that I'd like to talk to you about. And that is workload and your time. So let's just talk about that because as you might know, I help senior leaders, middle managers, business owners. They've got families and they're juggling that pressure professionally, but also then trying to provide and raise a family. And it can be tough. It can be tough. I've been in all those roles in my 20-year corporate career. I now own my own businesses. I've got an incredible family, and it's been quite the journey. So I know what it feels like to be in these positions, which is why I help. This is why I help. So let's talk about workload, because no matter what role you're in, what level you're in, there is always more to do than you could ever possibly get done. It's one of the hidden secrets of working life. We all think we're trying to get to the end of a to-do list. The fact of the matter is, in business, by the very definition of business, there is always more that you can do, because there's always something you can refine, launch, review. There's always something. Always. So that to-do list is actually never ending. But what kind of happens? What tends to happen, especially when we're under a lot of pressure? And we've worked our way out. We've worked hard to get to where we're at, and there's a lot at stake. And there's probably a lot of budgetary things at stake. There's a lot of results, profits, and all that kind of stuff. And it's a lot. And that workload can really rack up. And we can get to a point where we don't know how the heck we're supposed to get through everything. And our only strategy is to work harder and longer, trying to get everything done all at the same time, all by last Friday. Sound familiar? That's tough, because you can't do it all at the same time and all by last Friday. You've got the capability to do it, and people get this all mixed up. They think because they can't do it all, they think it's their capability. They think they're not good enough. They can't, it's not that. You're quite capable of doing everything on your to-do list. You just can't do it all at the same time by last Friday. It's a capacity issue, not a capability issue. I struggled with this for a great many years. And when all your strategy is just work harder and longer, that's when those long working hours come in. And then you start not seeing your family. This is what I help those senior leaders, those middle managers, those business owners with. This is one of the things I help them with. And what qualifies me? What qualifies me to do that? What, have you had a few too many things to do at times, Martin? Yeah, you could say that. In the corporate world, at its height, I wanted to get really organized because my workload was completely and utterly out of control. So I wanted to get back into control of it. And I set up an Excel spreadsheet. I thought, yeah, this is it. I'm going to get nice and organized, because one of the things, if you do your work management, your time management, all of that kind of stuff, document it all. And it's a good thing to do. Get it out of your head, right? Otherwise you're going to forget things. And I was forgetting things. So I set it up. 10 different tabs, different types of work, different projects. Oh, I felt organized. Felt really organized. You know the problem with it, though? The problem was, in every tab, I had over 80 items. I had a to-do list of over 800 items, and it was increasing. A to-do list, and by the way, it's a to-do list because If you've got 800 things on your to-do list, it ain't a to-do list, right? If you've got 3 must-do things today, that right there, that's a to-do list. 800 things, that's not. That's a heart attack in a spreadsheet. Simple as that, right? So that's the state that I'd got into. So what qualifies me to talk about workload? It's like, if your workload is out of balance, that I've in my journey, I've never done things by halves. It always seems to have been the extreme. So I've been in control of my workload right through to it is so out of control. I've got over 800 things on my list, and I just don't know how the heck I'm supposed to get through it all. And it keeps you up at night, right? You're led there thinking, how the heck am I supposed to do that? I got so much stuff to do tomorrow. What on earth? You know, what did I do today? And what didn't I do? You focus on all the stuff that you've still got. It doesn't matter when you've got so much to do. You could knock 30 things off your list in one day, and you still wouldn't be satisfied because you're focusing on the other 600 things on the list. Like it's never good enough. You're never satisfied. You never get that sense of satisfaction, which you should do when you complete tasks, when you complete work. You should be able to stand back and go, yeah, job well done, excellent work. But you just on to the next, on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. Just ring a bell. So workload's not going away, right? We work. There's things to do. But man, there are ways to go about it, and working harder and longer and putting everything in a spreadsheet with over 800 items is not the way to go, right? See, as a leader, and you might already know this, but maybe it's just got out of control somehow, right? It's crazy times. There's a lot of change out there, internally in organizations, externally out there, with clients, with our families, within ourselves, and navigating this new world that we're in. Right, there's a lot of change, so things can get out of control very easily, very quickly. But you know, as a leader, it's not about managing everything, right? It's not like you kind of like managing all this and you're just moving all the pieces. You're looking at a 500-piece puzzle and you're just literally moving all the pieces. That's not leadership. You know this. Leadership is being able to look at everything, ask the right questions, and then go, that right there, that's what we got to focus on. That's leadership. Being able to look at 500 things and go, that. And then also know what the second and the third thing is, right? Just use the power of 3. Because there's always going to be something that's going to make the biggest difference. You've got to have a handle on your company, your department, your division, you know, where you're going, what the outcomes are that you're striving for, what's important to the company, what's important to your clients, your colleagues. You've got to know that in order then to be able to ask the right questions of everything in front of you and go, right, there's 1,000,001 things that we can do right now, but that right there, that's the thing that we need to focus on as a team, as a division, as a department. Or when you're looking at your own personal work, that's the thing that I need to focus on. But sometimes we lose that. You know, and maybe the work's got out of control, and maybe you have been trying to look at it, and maybe you've dug out the old Eisenhower matrix. Very, very useful tool. You know, what's urgent, what's important, what can you delegate, what can you get rid of? You know, very simple. And you go, oh yeah, I can do this. But what happens, you haven't got very often, when anyone pulls that matrix out, which is really helpful, and I use it with clients, they don't know the questions to ask, because they go, well, everything's urgent and important. So it all ends up in the top left-hand box, and you know better off. But there are powerful questions that you can ask of every single thing in front of you, every meeting, every task, every action, to make sure that you know whether it's going to make the biggest difference or not. And spoiler alert, biggest difference is one of the questions. So sometimes we just need the framework, the strategy, to be able to get back in control of our workload. That's what I help people with. I'll come back to what I said at the beginning. You might not be looking for a coach or a mentor. but it might be just what you need. Somebody who's been there, who's had a workload that's out of control, that understands your circumstances, what it's like to be at that level in an organization or to own your own business, and for it all to feel like it's on your shoulders and to have 1,000,001 things in front of you and to try and figure out, what the heck do I do? How do I lead this organization? How do I lead my people? How do I lead this work? It's all got so much out of control. I can't switch off. And the value of having somebody who understands that situation that you're in and understands that depth of feeling that it can have in the first instance is priceless. You don't get that from a self-education program or a YouTube video or an article or a book. You don't have that person to listen to you exactly what's going on in your head right now and can deal with that. You don't get that with all that other resources. Those other resources are great, but maybe you're a little bit beyond that. Maybe you need that personal guidance. And not just from somebody who understands, but somebody who's then figured out, how do you do it? How do you get out of it? How do you get back in control of things? How can you start feeling more calm and confident about your workload again? I've spent years looking at this, trying to figure it out. And I developed what I call my work leadership model. I'll tell you what, the first thing isn't even about those tasks that you've got in front of you. Because I tell you what, 80% of all of this stuff, it's up here, it's mindset, it's how you're looking at things, how you're looking at your role at work, how you're looking at your workload, how you're looking at things and the meaning you're giving them. It dictates then what you then do with your workload, which is another part of it, right? How do you then approach your workload? With a simple shift in mindset, how do you then look at your workload? And then how do you focus your time to get that stuff done? And then what are the habits that you build on a daily basis that are going to help you be productive, but also balanced and healthy? And then what's the compound effect of all of that? Greater than the sum of its parts. So I figured this stuff out. It's what I use today. I got more to do than ever, because that was the realization that there's always more that you can do. The to-do list is never ending. That's the good news. So we have to, if we don't take control of our workload and our time, then I guarantee our workload will take advantage of us. It will fill every gap you have. It will fill every moment of time you have if you let it. Which comes on to that thing of, when we're just working harder and longer, our work's like out of control and we're like that, then we don't have control of our time. And we don't then see our family. And then we start feeling guilty and resentful. You know, we're working those long hours. We're not having tea with them during the week. We're not seeing the bedtimes for our kids. We're not reading them a story or singing them a song at the bedtime. And we're not helping them out with their homework, or, you know, we're not involved in their life as much. And I know that can feel harsh, and I know, you know, it can hit here a little bit, right? But it's the truth. And how do I know? Because I've been there. Again, like I said, I don't take things, you know, I do it by extremes. So when it came to time, when I was completely out of control, workload-wise, I wasn't just working till 11 o'clock at night, which is what I used to do. I wasn't just then, with the beauty of technology, then working until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning at home. That need to get everything done, or that desperation to get everything done, feeling like otherwise I'm going to be a failure, and I'm not going to be good enough, or I'm going to be found out, that ended up being 24-hour days, 48-hour days, 72-hour days. That ain't good for family. It ain't good for your health. It's not good for your business. Because the longer hours you work, the less productive you are. Again, science. Right? All the studies show. So when you're pushing that hard, you know it's out of control. But what do you do about it? What can you do about it? And maybe you've looked at it. Maybe you've looked at some time management stuff, and that's fine. There's some good stuff out there. But again, maybe you've dismissed it, or you're not using it, or you don't think it's to do with your situation because it's unique and all that kind of stuff. And maybe you just need someone to talk it through with. Somebody who understands what it's like to feel out of control and to have so many things to be able to do. How on earth do you whittle that down confidently? How do you lead your work so that then you can lead others? How do you do that? Speak to somebody who's done it. Speak to somebody with that lived experience. And this is what I do. So maybe you're not looking for a coach or a mentor, but maybe it's exactly what you need. And I've said this before. I don't care what you call me. You can call me your coach, your mentor. You can call me the guy that's by your side, that sits with you, that listens to you and is helping you, guide you through this stuff. Right? I don't mind what you call me. I mean, be polite. What I'm interested in is helping you. I want to help you get to being that person that feels calm, confident, in control again, and with balance, seeing your family. One other thing that I wanted to, what drives us to kind of be like this, and for things to get out of control and get that balance, and for somehow sort of normalize it. How can that happen? Well, one of the things for me was what I said about, I didn't want people to feel like I was a failure or that I wasn't good enough. I mean, inside, I just didn't feel good enough. There was nothing to warrant that. I'd earned the company billions of pounds in profits. I led industry-wide initiatives and all that kind of stuff, right? The capability wasn't in question, although internally I just didn't feel good enough. But that's because everything was out of control and I felt out of place. But here's the thing. The reason I was pushing harder and harder and harder and working those longer and longer hours was because I was worried that, if I let people down, if I made a mistake, and by the way, if you're working those long hours, it's more likely to make a mistake. If that was to happen, oh my goodness, I might get marked down in my performance review. If I get marked down in my performance review, I'll be out in the next restructure, which is just around the corner, because we had a restructure every 6 to 18 months in the corporate world in financial services. Oh my God, if I lose my job, I won't be able to pay the bills. I won't be able to pay the mortgage. We'll lose the house. My wife and kids will leave me and I'll be broken in the gutter. Now, for some of you, you might think that's a bit dramatic, Martin. For some of you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I lived with that fear for years. That's what drove me to keep pushing harder and harder and harder and work longer and longer and longer hours. It is not a healthy driver. And if you are anywhere near that kind of thinking, then all the articles and the YouTube videos you like aren't going to help you. Right? You need to talk this stuff through, and we need to get some fresh perspective. We need to start making some shifts in how we're looking at things, and then how we're doing things. And it's possible. And you would be amazed at how simple some of the things are that you can do that make an extraordinary difference, but you're just not in that headspace right now. I'd love to get you in that headspace though. I'd love to be that person by your side, helping you through all this. So maybe your workload is a little bit out of control. Maybe your working hours are a little bit out of control and you desperately want to do something about that, but you don't really know what that is. And maybe you haven't been looking for a mentor or a coach. Maybe it's what you need. And I want you to know that you're not alone. You're not alone, firstly, in feeling like this, because it is far too common. So many people feel like this. But that's little comfort for you. The second thing really on this is that you don't have to navigate this alone. You don't have to go through this alone. You're not trying to figure this out by yourself. I spent years trying to figure this stuff out, and trust me, there was lots of trial and error, but there was a lot of pain and suffering for me and my family. The quickest way for you to get any result, whether you want to improve something, change something, achieve something, or overcome something, is to get personal help. Personal help. Personal support. The most effective use of your time, because you are busy. You don't feel like you've got any time right now. the most effective use of your time is not to try and wade through articles or YouTube videos or buy a program, or is to go and get some personal support, somebody you can regularly speak to on a regular basis, that you know that they're there. They know they're going to listen. They know they're going to understand your depth of feeling. They're going to ask the right questions to understand what's going on. And they're going to be able to guide you out of it, help you, support you until you are out of it and you're back in control, back calm, back confident, being the leader at work, being the partner and the parent that you know that you can be and that they need. Let's get you back there. And I make this really, really simple. Just message me. No complicated funnels or links. Just send me a message. Say, hey Martin, I saw your video. You're right. My workload, my time is out of control. I need to get back in control. For me, my family, my business. Can we have a call? Can we see what's possible? That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. Just do that. And then we'll take it from there. And if I can, we'll have a call. I'll understand exactly what's going on. And if I can help you, I'll let you know how I can help. I hope this video has been helpful. I hope it's from the heart. You know, like I said, I spent years and it was totally and utterly out of control. I suffered, my family suffered. And I don't want that for you and your family. Because what I realized is you don't need to. The problem is nobody really is out there teaching this stuff. Nobody teaches us how to deal with this stuff at work or in college or university or school or in our inductions, or, you know, it's all about technical stuff. Nobody really shows you how to deal with the stress of having everything to do and you feeling like you got to do it all at the same time, all by last Friday, and how you balance life. I guess I fill that gap, right? I'm here to help you do that because I didn't have that. And together, I know that we can get you in a good place. So maybe you're not looking for a coach or a mentor. Maybe it might just be the thing that you need. I hope this has helped. If this has got you thinking, drop me a message. Thanks for watching. Until next time.